All right, let's dive into one of science fiction's most legendary and, let's be honest, difficult novels, Iain Banks Feersum Endjinn. This is a book that doesn't just hand you a story, it makes you fight for it. But trust me, the payoff is absolutely incredible.
So take a look at this. At first glance, it just looks like a total mess of typos, right? What do you think is going on here? Is it some kind of code, a weird dialect? It feels like a puzzle from the very first sentence, and believe me, that is 100% intentional.
And here it is, the translation. What you're looking at is phonetic spelling, writing words exactly how they sound. This is the voice of one of our main characters, Bascule. And this immediately brings up the huge question that hooks you. Why on earth would an author deliberately make their book this hard to read? Well, to understand this strange language, we first have to understand the world it comes from. And it's a world where knowledge itself is literally breaking down. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing you've got to wrap your head around is that Bascule's phonetic writing, it's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. The novel is actually told through four totally distinct voices. So, you've got Bascule with his broken, street-level language giving you the real boots-on-the-ground perspective. Then, you switch to Countess Livr, and suddenly you're reading this formal, classic prose, full of high-level political drama. Then you get these dry, official reports from an investigator named Gant-kit, giving you this clinical, just-the-facts view. And finally, you get these pure data streams, literally just system logs and raw info dumps from the world's computer. And what's so brilliant here is why he does this. See, no single person can possibly grasp the full story. You need Bascule's heart, Livia's cunning, Gant-kit's facts, and the machine's cold data to piece the whole truth together. And this gets us to the most important point of all. Bascule's phonetic spelling isn't just some clever literary trick. It's not a gimmick. It is a direct symptom of the novel's central theme, the decay of knowledge in a society that is literally forgetting its own past. So this theme of decay, how does it actually play out in the world itself? To understand that, we have to look at where all their knowledge is kept. The entire story is set inside a single, mind-bogglingly huge structure. This thing is called the Citadel, and it's not just a city, it's a world-sized computer, an archive that holds every piece of information this civilization has ever had. It's this perfect illustration of the link between their technology and their culture. But here's the problem. This archive is unbelievably old, and it is failing. So you see the connection, right? Just as the Citadel's data is getting corrupted and literally disappearing, the language of the people who live there, people like Bascule, is breaking down too. The technology that holds their history is falling apart, and so is the language they use to tell it. One is just a symptom of the other. But a failing archive, believe it or not, that's the least of their worries. The real reason everyone is so desperate, the reason for all the political games and Bascule's quest, is a threat so massive it gives the book its name. The Feersum Endjinn, or the Feersum Endjinn. Now, this isn't some monster or an alien invasion. It's a slow-motion cosmic catastrophe that is literally eating their sun. It's this unstoppable force of nature, an apocalypse happening in slow motion that threatens to wipe out not just all life, but all knowledge, forever. And the way it happens is terrifyingly simple. First, the star's energy gets drained away. Then, the world begins to freeze. And finally, total, absolute erasure. This is the ticking clock that's driving the whole plot, forcing every single character to stare their own mortality right in the face. So with complete annihilation on the horizon, is there any hope? Well, this society has one last desperate card to play. A piece of ancient technology so advanced it completely blurs the line between science and magic. It's called nascence, and you can think of it as the ultimate lifeboat. It's a system designed to scan a person's entire consciousness, store it all as data, and then, maybe thousands of years later, rebirth that consciousness into a freshly grown clone. The process itself is wild. First, a full scan digitizes your entire mind. Then that data gets stored deep inside the Citadel, the same failing Citadel, which is a whole other issue. And finally, if everything works, your consciousness gets implanted into a new body, pretty much letting you cheat death. But this, of course, raises this gigantic philosophical question that the book just dives straight into. If you're reborn from a digital copy of your mind, are you still you? Or are you just an echo? Where does your identity even end and a perfect copy begin? Okay, so we've got a broken language, a dying world computer, a sun-eating catastrophe, and this crazy digital resurrection technology. Let's pull all these threads together and see what this incredibly complex story is really trying to say. So what does it all mean? Well, this strange book is about way more than just a sci-fi adventure. It's teaching us some crucial lessons. First, that language is the memory of a culture. That sufficiently advanced technology really does feel like magic. It also shows that controlling history and information is the ultimate form of power. And finally, it proves that a big enough threat can actually force people to unite and get over their petty squabbles. Ultimately, the Fearsum Endjinn isn't just a plot device. It's a giant metaphor that Banks uses to explore these timeless human worries, our relationship with our own information, the fragility of our memory, both as individuals and as a culture, and what we're willing to do to survive.
And that leaves us with one final thing to chew on. If the Endjinn is a slow-moving threat that corrupts information and erases history, what's our modern-day version of that? Is it the slow creep of climate change, the decay of truth in an age of misinformation, or maybe just the gradual corruption of our own digital archives? The book doesn't give you any easy answers, but it does a brilliant job of forcing you to ask the question,